Hi, and welcome to another CRIISP Growth Labs interview where we bring you insightful conversations with industry experts and leaders. Today, we have the pleasure of having with us Giles Karhan, the CEO at Rocking Horse. Our topic for today's discussion is accelerating innovation, empowering Australian businesses with early access to R&D financing. Giles, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Rhythm. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Now, to begin with, can you tell us about Rocking Horse and its mission to support Australian innovators in achieving homegrown commercial success?
Yes, absolutely. Look, I just first wanted to say thank you. We've been working with Wholesale Investor for a long time, and Steve and I have had a very long relationship, so it's great to speak to you. Look, we have been on a mission, I guess, for almost 9 years now. We've been trying to help Australian companies access further funding that is non-dilutionary and can really accelerate their achievements to commercialization. You know, it's a long journey to do R&D and to create new products, and what we are able to provide is that funding to help them get to that point faster. And we've had a lot of companies. We've done, hundreds, somewhere around 700 to 800 companies over the years. Whether they've all been successful, I can't say, but they've all had the opportunity to grow what they're generally passionate about, and that's what we're really proud of.
Amazing. That sounds very impressive, Giles, indeed. Now, could you share the aspiration that actually led to the founding of Rocking Horse and how it disruptively supports Australian innovators and the businesses?
Yeah, look, I remember sitting in a room with some guys who were, who were innovators and really looking. They were doing a presentation at PwC in Melbourne, I always remember, and they were really struggling with the funding side. And at the time, I'd been working in funds management for a long time, helping funds raise money. And speaking with them, Macquarie were really the only major player who were lending money against their R&D. But their minimum ticket was $2-3 million. So I really thought, well, look, isn't there a way that we can help the smaller guys? Isn't there a way that, with the right funding and the right structure, we could help not just the guys who were doing $5-6 million in R&D, we could help the littler guys. So it took me about another 9 months, but I was very lucky enough to find the right funders who were guys who were the first to do R&D, first to do venture capital and private equity in Australia, and they saw the opportunity to help. And there were some commercial gains from helping. And this is where, I truly believe for any industry is there has to be commercial gain to have the right outcomes. And so we were able to do that. And, it's been a great ride over the 9 years. Some of our most successful that I know of companies, one of them started off as a $30,000 loan. Now they employ hundreds of people over in Silicon Valley and are doing exceptionally well. So, it's been really fun, and it's been, it's been really interesting to see the trends and what's happening in the ecosystem, and something that I've really enjoyed over the years.
Yeah, definitely. And it's truly inspiring for us to hear as well, Giles. Now, it's evident that Rocking Horse plays a very crucial role in supporting businesses in accessing R&D funding earlier. So can you walk us through the process and the specific strategies that are employed by Rocking Horse to assist companies in this aspect?
Yeah, look, the model really is around whether a company just needs short-term funding or longer-term funding. So we're really able to help in both areas. So whether the company's MVP just needs a little bit of time, a little bit of money just to get them to that point where they can go out and raise a Series A, B, C, whether they're doing clinical trials and just need to get through to get their results so that then they can go raise further capital. Look, in all honesty, we're a stopgap. we're not your equity. We're not there for the long haul. We are there. We hope we can support companies generally for about 5 years is our estimation around how long a company will be doing R&D for before they get more into that commercialization and hopefully, go on to bigger and better things. But where we provide it is whether it's short-term funding where they come to us, for example, it's the 1st of August now. So maybe they're about to lodge their R&D, but they're running pretty low on cash and just need to get them through to that the refund. Or they come to us at the end of the first quarter. They've already got their refund from the year before, and they say, right, we've already spent the first quarter money, and we want to continue to accelerate our R&D. Because if a company comes to us throughout the year, they can, if they spend the money that they get from us on R&D, they can actually get to their product through a lot faster through that R&D phase. So, there's a lot of variables in there, what they spend the money on and whether it's R&D applicable, et cetera, that it's hard to give direct exact numbers. But if you think you're getting 43.5%, we're lending you 38, 39% of that, well, you can increase your spend by that 38, 39%. So it can be a significant amount, but the company needs to understand what they're doing, be able to spend it on R&D, and have the structures in place to be able to do it that way. But we don't care. We're a fully flexible facility that they can get it for 3 months, they can have it for 12 months. We don't, we're just there to help the companies in what they need.
Absolutely, completely understand that. Now, Giles, Australia has a remarkable history of producing world-changing innovations, such as the development of the platform for Google Maps, the plastic banknotes, and the Wi-Fi technology as well. But despite these groundbreaking innovations, there have been some challenges in translating them into local commercial success. So it would be great if you could tell us about how does Rocking Horse actually address this challenge and help innovators succeed within their own country?
Look, I think it's really about, we fill out the ecosystem, for want of a better term. We work with a lot of the VCs. We work obviously with wholesale investor. We work with, and we're very complementary, and this is the one thing that we really like, and why we've been able to be around for so long, is that we're not in competition with anyone. We're the first ones to say we're not the cheapest, and that's just the nature of the business. If you can go to a NAB or an ANZ and get a loan, we're the first ones to say, fantastic, go and get it, and we wish you all the success, because we fill a small gap in that. We don't replace the equity, so we don't compete with the VCs. We don't compete with anyone. We're just there to fill in a gap. And we believe we're a very integral part of the process, because with our money and with our help, you can get to that point where, this is why we work with the VCs so closely, is they might want the company to de-risk themselves to get to a certain point, whether it's a customer, whether it's a product, whether it's a revenue target, whether it's everyone's looking for something for a trigger for another round of investment. There's a number of reasons why. So we just help that, and we're short-term funding. We understand what the asset is. We're able to work with the customer to give them quick, fast access to cash, which helps them move on and move forward in creating their new knowledge, which is what the whole program is about. Australia's been at the forefront of R&D for a long time in this program. Where we came after Canada, we came before the UK. We've led the UK. I've done a lot of work with R&D program in the UK as well, and we've led them in the way we've done things. And luckily, Australia haven't taken the same approach as the UK and just slashed the amount. They've worked harder on the compliance and made sure that the companies aren't trying to rort the system or anything like that. And I think the program now is a very solid program that is going to help Australia. Now, Australia is always going to have the problem that we're a small country, well, a small population, but
Mm.
we're able then to test products and really get them to market for then future trajectory of growth in Europe or in America, or in a lot of different jurisdictions or areas that have a population that can really accelerate the revenue of a company.
Yeah, absolutely. Very key points there, Giles.
And
Completely
actually,
understand that.
one last thing I'll probably put it to that. One of the big
Yes.
trends at the moment is biotech in this country. There are a lot of biotechs coming to Australia to do clinical, 1 and 2. And this just shows why our R&D program is so integral and beneficial for this country.
Amazing. Now, Giles, as a mentor in the industry, you have undoubtedly encountered various challenges that are faced by innovators and businesses. So, in your experience, what are some hurdles that companies have to face when they're accessing R&D, and how does Rocking Horse actually help them navigate these challenges to offer effective solutions?
So, look, I guess from the Rocking Horse perspective, we are a funder, right? So, we really, that's, I guess, the hurdle of how do they get to that next point? Because equity, sometimes it's, I wouldn't say easy, sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's harder, depending on where we are in the cycle. What we also do, and what I guess I've always done, because I've invested in companies and I like knowing what's going on, and I sort of do it as a bit more of value add, but also looking at pitch decks, and we always get a pitch deck just so we know what we're lending to. It just gives us another touch point on, is this fraud, and we just obviously we have to be on alert for that sort of thing, and we have had people try to be fraudulent to us. But with that, I love looking through pitch decks and, giving advice. And, I speak to the VCs a lot, so I hear what they're looking for. And, it's the ecosystem. And, Steve and I started our journeys very closely together because of some common investors. And we've just been able to, it's this filling out the ecosystem, because if companies are able to raise, they are going to do further R&D. They do further R&D. They're going to need financing. They're going to need financing. It's this cycle that that is, I think, in Australia is phenomenal. In everyone helps each other, and because especially in the early stage ecosystem, there's a lot. Everyone has their role, and I think we're very everyone is collaborative in that regard. So, how do we help them navigate those challenges? I've seen hundreds and hundreds of pitch decks. So, I'm very happy to spend half an hour and say, look, maybe look at this, and this, and this. Who are you going to target? Maybe you want to target this person or this person because they might be looking at your product. Because we're a pretty vanilla, plain product. We lend money against an asset. We get paid back. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very helpful, but there are so many other hurdles that an early stage company is going to encounter. And if we can give them any advice just purely because of experience, I'm more than happy to, and actually enjoy it.
Amazing. That's great to know, Giles. Thank you for sharing those valuable insights. Now, as a parting question, it would be great if you could tell us that, with the constant emergence of hundreds of new startups each day and the market witnessing the transformative impact of AI, how does Rocking Horse actually envision its role in fostering innovation and providing support to businesses in Australia in the years to come?
Look, funding is always going to be the number one thing that innovators want. We're going to be moving into the gaming financing as well. We're always looking for new strategies, new ways to help. Whether it's in Australia, whether it's overseas. The one thing I do say, the UK has a very good Innovate UK program that they fund very well, and this is going to be more and more a competitive landscape in what the countries do to foster that innovation. We see, I used to mentor to the On program. I've done a lot of mentoring over the years. I think we will continue to look at ways in which we can help companies in their more financial journey. I'm not an expert in product, and I don't have time to become an expert in product because the product change, and there are so many different products out there. Obviously, where I come in is really on the finance side, and is on the ability to help a company, when they're with us, make sure that they're financially viable, and potentially giving them advice on what they can do. Now, how we then assess and do our DD is changing with AI and ChatGPT, and the way that we can look at companies and speed things up. And that is a very fast evolving area, with the payday lenders, and those guys are always looking at that. Now, we're a little bit different, in that we can't look at something like like those payday lenders that they can do. They've got a very rigid process where we have to be more fluid because of what we're looking at. We're looking at new technology. We're looking at it's the rigidity that they have. We don't, which is great, because I would never want to be just to press the button and lend. I like to be able to help and to give advice. And so, look, how do we change in the coming years? I think it's going to be more flexibility through better understanding of a company's financials, which comes from better technology. Xero and MyOb, and they're always changing, and being able to assess what they're doing and using those to better enhance our processes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Giles, for joining us today and sharing your experience and expertise with our audience at CRIISP Growth Labs. It's truly been so insightful to learn about the work that Rocking Horse is doing and the impact that you are actually making in supporting all the Australian businesses out there. And to our viewers, we hope you found this interview insightful. And if you would like to get in touch with Giles, please see the details at the side of the screen or in the description of this video. Once again, thank you, Giles, for joining me and sharing these wonderful insights with our audience.
Thanks, Redden. Really nice to speak to you.
Thank you.